Becky Nunn with Nunn Design. Let me show you how easy it is to add a colorized resin. So this was the regular Nunn Design resin that I mixed it up so it was clear. Then I mixed in a little bit of the Casting Craft opaque pigments. You can make any color that you want, but I'm just working with the white on this one. And then I covered up the resin onto the Nunn Design flat tags. So let me show you how easy this is to do. The Nunn Design pieces, these are cast in lead-free pewter and then plated. So to get the oxidization that is on the surface of the bezels and the flat tags off, use a little bit of rubbing alcohol and then wipe down the pieces with the rubbing alcohol. What this is doing is they are cast lead-free, and then we are plating them with a 24 karat gold on this one, and then the silver ones are 0.99 fine silver and the copper ones are copper. And then after we do that, we oxidize them, and that drops the blackening into the recessed areas on some of them, like the ones that have a lot of relief or something. It has a lot of the blackening goes into that relief area and darkens it. But on this we don't need it, and it tends to mix with the resin sometimes and discolor the resin. So I'm cleaning off that excess. You can see that oxidization on my Q-tip by the time I'm done. So go ahead and clean them thoroughly first. Put my top back onto my rubbing alcohol, and now we are ready to add the colorant onto the tags. I like to use a little toothpick for this and just take some of the colorized resin and drizzle it onto the tag. And I actually will use multiple toothpicks so that I can either hold the tag in place and move the resin around with the other one. I'm bringing it right to the sides and down to that tip area with the toothpick. And then when we get up around the top part right here, I'm going to show you how you can use the resin and the toothpick, to go around that whole area. So I'm holding the toothpick stable. I'm not holding the toothpick, holding the flat tag stable with the toothpick and bringing that resin up around that whole area. And then dragging the colorized resin over into that area there. Once I have my resin all on there, the Nunn Design resin is a self-doming resin, so it just wants to know where that side edge is, and then it'll stop. Once I have the base covered, you can drizzle more of the colorant on there to give it a more opaque look and also bring up the height a little bit. Coming up here and dragging that resin around that whole area. So that is that one. I'm going to actually show you what happens when you put too much resin on the piece and it fills that hole. But I'm using, on this one I use the front side of the flat tag, but you can also use the back side. It has a very straight, flat look, and it has a different look, and could be a little bit easier for some people because this has little sloped edges. So either side is great. But since I already did the first one that way, I'm going to do the second one this way. I want to show you what happens or how to fix when you have some resin that goes down into that whole area. So let's just go ahead and put some of the resin. Oops, I got it in the hole. So how you will change that is by breaking the contact of where that hole is against your surface. I'm just moving some of my resin away. It's not working for me. You can see I've kind of moved out some of the resin, so that's what I want. Is I want to break that contact of where that resin is. You can get in there with the toothpick. You can see I got a little bit of I don't know what that is. So I just lifted it up and it broke the contact, and so therefore the resin is no longer filled in that whole area. I'm going to go ahead and wipe where that hole is so that I don't get resin on the back side of my tag when I move it around. So that was kind of a messy version of what I wanted to show you, but that's how it worked out. You got to see how you can move the tag and break the contact and therefore not have the hole be filled. Another thing you can do is wait until the piece is completely cured, and you can either drill it or punch it, but you run the risk of the resin cracking in that area. Alright, so there's our two tags. If this was going to be a pair of earrings, I'd want to double check to see that the amount of resin on here is the same, so that the height of the piece is equal. The height of the resin that I'm adding on, so I might either add a little bit more resin or even take some off. So if I had too much resin, I could use a toothpick to go in and pick some up and put it back into my cup. And that is how you add on a little bit of colorant onto the flat tips. This is Becky Nunn with Nunn Design. Hope you enjoyed it.